Parashat Akev, chapter 7, verse 3, the Torah commands us that we're not allowed to be married out of the faith. I'm going to say it in Hebrew, and then Ivan going to read it in English, and we'll try to understand why not to marry out of the faith, Be'ezrat Hashem. It said there like this, לא תתחתן בם, בתך לא תיתן לבנו, וביתו לא תיקח לבנך.
You shall not intermarry with them, you shall not give your daughter to his son, and you shall not take his daughter for your son.
Okay. Every day we hear about more and more mixed marriage, especially youngsters, although some of them even old, that they have a relationship with people out of the faith, and they ask you, tell me, is it so bad if we married out of the faith? Really, is it so bad? What is so bad about it? So the first question that they'll ask you, when I spoke to a few people, tell me, isn't our Torah racist? Our religion is actually racist. We're not allowed to marry out of the faith. So the question number one that we have to tackle is, our religion, as Jewish, are we racist? The second question that comes, that they tell you, listen, I'm in love. She's a wonderful girl or a wonderful boy, very respectable, well-behaved. All the story that we know. I tell you the truth, I'm in love. We'll see how to answer that question. The third one that people don't know, they come and tell you, and they quote the Gemara in Masechet Sota, page 2:1. And the Gemara in Masechet Sota say like this, 40 יום קודם יצירת הוולד, בת קול יוצאת ואומרת, בת פלוני לפלוני ובן פלוני לבת פלוני. I'm going to translate it to English. 40 days before the fetus form, a voice come out of heaven, come down from heaven, and declare that this male will marry this female, that fetus, and the same, the opposite, that female will marry with that male. So those people tell you, listen, it's matchmaking. It's already bashirt for me. We'll see if that's really so true. And the fourth one, people said to you, listen, I'm not a religious person. I'm not interested. I'm actually atheist. I don't care. Let's see if he really doesn't care. And we'll bring some answers. So the main question that we have to look, is our religion racist? Are we racist? So if we look carefully in our religion does not encourage people to convert. It's the only religion, and you can check it up, that not encourage to convert. If people decide to convert, we check the motive. If the motive is genuine, and they decide to get married because they really love our religion, that we want to become Jew, they don't make it so easy for them. They make it a bit difficult. You can ask Simon here. He's already 14 years. Am I right, Simon? Not so simple, huh?
Close to
20
20 years.
years, sorry. So, sorry, Simon, I didn't mean to. So it's take a long time, let's put it this way. We don't make it so simple, but we don't run like Christianity,
And the Muslims.
and we start killing, like the Crusaders, the Inquisition. The Islam have the jihad, that the jihad tell you, if you're not going to believe in our religion, or you're not going to convert, we see what's happening today in the news. They're chopping head, left hand and right. They don't care. No, the Jewish religion doesn't tell you that. So the question becomes, if that's the case, why don't want us to mix marriage? What is so bad to mix marriage? So the first thing that we have to understand, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us something very interesting. Told us when he chose us as a nation, that we should be Am Kadosh Le'Elohechem. That means that we should be holy to the Almighty. How's that fit with us? How's it fit? Let's ask ourselves. You know, there is many going. They're really nice people. Really nice people. There is some of them that the righteous of the world. We know about it, Hasidei Umot HaOlam. But we're not allowed to marry with them. So how does it fit with us? So I'm going to bring 2 answers, or maybe 3 even. I try to squeeze it as much as I can with the short time that we have on this show to understand. Racist, it's a person that if you ask, let's go a bit back, 70 years back, if we would ask Hitler, Yimach Shemo v'Zichro, listen, I'm willing to become a Christian. Will you accept me? I'm willing to become a Nazi. You know what Hitler will do? The answer is one. Kill. Chop. Not only that, Hitler, if he knew that one of the priests 5 generations backward was Jewish, he will kill him. That's considered as a racist. Why? Because you don't accept me. That's a racism. The Jewish religion doesn't say that you're not allowed to be whatever religion that you want. The Jewish religion tells you, yes, you will be whatever you want, but you can't marry with us. And for us to understand that, if a person wants to become a member of a very exclusive club, he wants to join that club, there is certain categories that he has to stand for. Then you have to fill up a form, and everyone will agree with that. The same with the Jewish religion. The difference is that we have 613 mitzvot. The Gentile have 7 mitzvot. Take a person that have 7 mitzvot, suddenly bombard on him another 606 mitzvot. How's he going to cope with that? I don't think that he's going to cope with that so easily. So, if you decide that you want to marry out of the faith, you have to take that to consideration, and we'll get to it. But for those that think that it's so simple, we'll see if it's so simple. Not only that, we have to understand one important thing. That when HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to give us the 613 mitzvot, it maybe make us privileged, but we have obligation that the Gentile doesn't have. The Gentile have 7 mitzvot that they're obligated to keep. And if you take those 7 mitzvot that they have, compared to the rest of 606 mitzvot that we have, how's it going to fit together? It's a major problem. So the main reason that we're saying that not to mix marriage, because somewhere along the line, you take a person that's obligated to keep only 7 mitzvot, and suddenly you have to keep another 606 mitzvot. He doesn't know where he is. He loses ground. For the second question, that those youngsters tell you, and some of them even older people that I hear that mixed marriage, listen, I'm in love. She's a wonderful girl, or he's a wonderful boy, well behaved. What else can I ask? She do everything that I ask. Yes, true. But if we concentrating on the focus, the word love, what will happen if one of that couple will say, listen, I'm not interested about having children. For example, if the girl is out of the faith, and she said to the boy, listen, I'm not interested to have kids. How would he take it? Where is the love? Listen, I want kids. I want to bring kids to the world. Then the love suddenly disappears. There is no more love. As much that you love her, after a while, HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us one special present, is time. Time helps us to forget. What happens if it's the opposite? If he decides, listen, I don't want to have children, and she does want to have children, then what? Then what? Doesn't work. You're not going to accept it. Let's go to those people that convert. And that's the most important, before I forget. The Torah tells us in Sefer Dvarim, Parashat Ekev again, chapter 10, verse 19. The Torah tells us like this, that for the people that convert properly with no special motive, ve'ahavtem et hager. You want to read it, Brian?
You shall love the proselytes, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Okay. The Torah commands us, we have a positive command that we obligated to love the convert. How come? We have a special command to love the convert. If a person become a ger tzedek, that he convert with no personal motive, that means that he didn't find a girl, or even if he find a girl, he decides that's the religion that I want, and he converts, we have a mitzvah to love the convert. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Why? In a pshat, because we was foreigners in Egypt. I didn't see that it tells us to love any other Jew. There is another mitzvah, ve'ahavta l'ra'acha kamocha, that you should love every Jewish person. But here the Torah come and tell us specifically who you should love? The convert. Why? If he already decide to become a Jewish person, he took on himself the Jewish religion, we're obligated to accept him like part of us, not to let him feel different, like he's a foreigner. So from here we see two aspects. Number one, we answer to those that think that we are racist. We answer the question that what's happening with the love? No one will accept love if he doesn't have children, if he wants really children. Then he will break the relationship no matter what. The third one that I would like to answer is what the Gemara in Masechet Sota tell us. The Gemara in Masechet Sota tell us about that HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually make the matchmaking 40 days before the fetus. And a voice come of heaven. If that's the case, and a person meets a Gentile, is that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us? HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded us a negative command not to marry out of the faith. But the Gemara in Masechet Sota tell us 40 days before the fetus form, a voice of heaven come out and tell us who to marry. That means there is a basher. But for those one, we can answer them like this. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you all know, wrote the Zohar. And he wrote in the Zohar that it all depends on the deeds of a person. If a person keep these deeds, that means keep mitzvot, and kept the Holy Torah, whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu say at the beginning, that will happen. But Has v'Shalom, if that person changes deed, and he doesn't shomer mitzvot, and he become a bit, I don't want to say wicked, but whatever you want to call it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu take another couple that already made the matchmaking, and he see that that girl actually keeping, she is not keeping Torah or mitzvot, and he actually twists the matchmaking. So for those that think that matchmaking we have, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, the Gemara tell us 40 days before the fetus actually form, we must look a bit deep. Where? To what? The secret of the Torah. That's what the Zohar say. Let's go to the fourth one, because the time I see running from us. And the Torah tell us something very interesting. The Torah tell us that, you find people that tell you, listen, I don't believe in the Torah. The Torah tells us, yes. But I don't believe in the Torah. I'm not a religion. As a matter of fact, I'm an atheist. I'm a non-believer. And I'm going to bring a story for that's happened with a person. I'm sure that many of you heard that story. But when a person said to you, listen, I'm an atheist, how do you tackle him? How do you answer that person?
At least the what's the word? The potential is there to be religious and to follow a moral system that is all-encompassing and comes from Hashem.
But him himself, he tell you, listen, I'm not interested. I'm not religious. I don't want to hear about it. I'm actually an atheist. So ask those people, how many of them come in contact, even that they're not religious, they don't keep Shabbos. How many of them come in contact at least once a year with our festival? They come sometime to a festival. How do they fit with that? Okay? But lo aleinu, let's go to another stage. Has v'shalom, when they lost a member of their family, lo aleinu. Where they fit, suddenly they say Kaddish. Suddenly they sit Shiva, lo aleinu. Suddenly, they decide that they have to have a tombstone, they bury them. So where does it fit together? And I heard the story, and I'm sure many of you heard that. It was a story that a young boy decided to marry out of the faith. And the story I heard I didn't hear it from the person himself, I heard via a third person that heard that. If you understand what I'm saying. I wasn't involved with that directly, but it's a very famous story. I heard with the person that heard it from the rabbi. And the family approached the rabbi and they said to the rabbi, listen, our son met a girl. And she's not Jewish. She's not interesting to convert. He's not interesting. But I hear we're talking about people that not interesting about converting. Remember. And he said that he's not believer. Please help us. The rabbi said, look, I can't help you a lot. I'm going to try to do my best. Because the parent explained to him that they have a chat and they tried, whatever force that they put on him didn't help. The rabbi said, look, let me try. I'm not promising, but I'll do my best. After half an hour that he's speaking to the boy, he sees that there is nothing to talk to. The boy is stubborn. He wants to marry the girl. The rabbi said, listen, if I leave now, we're going to lose neshama. And the rabbi said to him, listen, if you marry tomorrow out of the faith and you have kids, you actually, what you've done now, you cut the dynasty of the Jewish people. You cut the change. That's it, finished. There's no more Judaism to your family. The boy wasn't interested. The boy was in his own mind. The rabbi decided, I'm wasting my time. He stood up and suddenly the rabbi, something came into him. And he said, you know what, before I leave, I want to tell you one thing. When a person dies in Jewish religion, one of the mitzvot is to set Shiva, and the second one is to bury in a Jewish place, in a Jewish Helka Yehudit. And not only that people should say on you Kaddish. I want to ask you one thing. What's going to happen with you after 120? When you die, who's going to say Kaddish on you? Who's going to bury you? Who's going to sit Shiva on you? Think about it. The rabbi stood up and he walked away. And the rest, I'm sure that you all realize what's happened. That boy, after a while, broke the relationship. He thanks his parents. Obviously, the boy gone back to the rabbi and he wanted to thank him. And I would like to conclude with the research. In Israel, unfortunately, there is also mixed marriage between Jews and Christian Jews. And people from our cousin, the Muslim, you know. And the last thing that I'm going to bring, it's actually a Muslim guy that he done that research. His name is Nasser Abadi. Nasser Abadi, he's a social worker. Listen to that. He's a social worker on a place that's called Al-Fahim. And he done a statistic in Israel, and he was involved with people that done statistic in a state. And in his thing, and he said, 100% of those mixed marriage didn't work out. Why? Because when a woman married to a Muslim guy, she come from a Jewish background. She have to take now the Islam on her. It doesn't work. So Rav Zamir Cohen asked him. Rav Zamir Cohen is the head of a group that call it the Brut in Eretz Israel, that doing a wonderful job. And he said to him, tell me from your statistic, how many of those that you interview say that it might gonna work? He said 100% from the male and the female from the mixed marriage say that they don't recommend that mixed marriage. Always there is, somewhere along the line, as things move on, that means as you move out and the kids grow up, actually the friction become bigger. So he said, what would you suggest? He said, I'm going to tell you what I suggest. I'm going to tell you as a Muslim guy that I don't recommend any mixed marriage. Not necessarily Jewish and Muslim. Also Muslim and Christian. It doesn't work. And he said, told that those people that think that it's because we call it today, we're giving them a new name, that it's racist, we call it whatever we want to call it. He said, no. Because they're coming from two different backgrounds. And when it's come to holiday, it's starting affecting each other. And the kids that been caught in the middle doesn't know who they are. And the parents get torn. The father get torn and the mother get torn between that. So here we see why the Torah commanded us and told us not to marry out of the faith. And the last one, what's happened if a person converts? So we know that there is certain law. The Kohanim have a problem with that. The Kohen have a problem. We all know. But as a Levy, everyone know what is a Levy, נכון? As Israel, there is no problem with that halachically. Halachically, you can marry. As long that she converted properly. Today it's called Orthodox conversion. And in olden days, they used to call it in Hebrew, Giyur kahalacha. What it means, Giyur kahalacha? That she converted properly. Not via fax, like the Reform do, or other stuff. Giyur kahalacha, that's Orthodox conversion. Not only that it's okay, it's a mitzvah. So you ask, where's a mitzvah? We have a mitzvah, and it says, Ahavtem et hager. What it means to love the convert? It's not just to love him. You obligated that if you have a case like this, that's considered as love, to marry him. Once that he become under the wing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's a big mitzvah to marry him. So we're not Haz v'Shalom like many people think that we're racist. If you do it properly, we don't encourage it. But if people decide to convert and then done it properly, Orthodox conversion like we call it today, there's no problem, except the Kohen. But the Kohen also not allowed to marry a divorcee, even if she's Jewish. Because a Kohen, according to our religion, according to our state, he have a different privileges. Therefore, he can't marry divorcee. You have a problem with that, even if she's Jewish. No matter what, a convert. So we can't speak about a Kohen here. So you can't conclude, you can't include the Kohen to that category, because a Kohen is a different category altogether. So from here we see, let me summarize. Yes, Shimon?
Yeah, now the Kohen to the widow,
A Kohen, sorry?
can he marry the widow?
A Kohen can marry? A widow.
Yes.
Yes, a Kohen can marry
Only
a
a
widow,
Kohen Gadol.
except the Kohen Gadol. When the time of Bet HaMikdash, he can't marry a widow. But today, that because we don't have Bet HaMikdash, all the Kohanim can marry a widow. Only Kohen Gadol in the time of Bet HaMikdash cannot marry a widow. A Jewish widow you're talking about. A Jewish widow.
Yes.
Obviously. Okay, Shirkoach, we're going to say Kaddish just